What's up guys, Alex Comstock here. Today is May 19th. I'm about to head over to Custom Archery. I'm gonna go see Randy, hang out with him for a bit, get my new Hoyt set up, got new bow. It showed up a while ago, but I have not had a chance to get it set up with hanging out with our new baby. So gonna get that set up and we're just gonna take you through what it's like setting up a brand new bow, what everything that goes into it, and we're gonna talk with Randy on his whole process and get this puppy all set up for me. So let's head over to Custom Archery. Alrighty, well, me and Luke just rolled up here into Custom Archery. So before we jump into today's video, be sure to check out Custom Archery in the link below. Randy's, we're getting to that busy time of the year in the summer where people are getting bows set up, new bows, current bows, tuning bows. If you're in, the northern Minnesota, Wisconsin area, definitely come over to Custom. Randy's gonna, or Jaden if he's here working, they're gonna take care of you. It's by far the best shop in the area. So Randy's getting set up in the back, and we're gonna get this bow set up and bring you along with it. We're gonna get we got the Hoyt RX-9 here. So I got it.
Ooh, she's cute.
Got an all black with red strings, so I'm going with me being a big Husker fan. They're like the black shirts, it's like the defense, so that's what I'm going with. So going with a Husker theme bow in my mind, but Hoyt RX-9,
you gotta have a theme.
Yeah, I try to. I typically have been more of a plain Jane guy, so
or are you going Black Widow?
Black, ooh, I don't think that either. But yeah, so Randy's gonna get this puppy set up for me and see what you think.
Cool.
You set up probably quite a few Hoyts this year, I'm guessing already.
Yeah, we've done actually a lot more than last year because last year was our first year with them. But yeah, definitely people are catching on that we are a dealer. So
yeah, let's get her set up.
Cool. So as far as rest setup, I've had numerous people ask me with Hoyt, they have this brace in their riser here, whether or not this would go to the outside of it for their rest cord or the inside. Personally, I would go outside, and we usually set them all up outside just for the point of hey, you're going, you're paying attention to, say, a big shooter buck's coming, and you reach up and you grab your bow. Next thing you know, you're putting your thumb in here, and you're making a bunch more noise, and, oh, what's going on here? So having this to the outside makes everything cleaner and clears your hand better. So that's what we're going to do. Tying on this D-loop, we see a lot of places that actually do this wrong. So the top knot should be facing away from you, and it has to do with like the way the arrow comes off of the serving and how it, if you're right-handed or left-handed. So you always want the top knot to be away from your face, and then the bottom, you don't want them both on the same side. We've seen them two come in from different places where the knot is on top and the bottom on the same side. Well, you can't do that because then the loop just walks around the string like this. So you have to have one on one side and then the other one coming through on the bottom this side. So it would look like that. So you got a burn over here and a burn here. So then they're working against each other, so they're not gonna just walk up the string. But we're actually gonna take this and we're gonna tie in an under knot as well, which there's guys that always say that we've heard all kinds of different things. Top knot, bottom knot, tying in a knot on top, a knot on the bottom. It's almost proven out there. I think Joel Turner did a video that actually shows when you have your release hooked up, and if you have a top knot and a bottom knot, it actually creates torque on where the arrow is sitting, torque on it this way. So a lot of times I'll just do a soft knot on the top, which is your D-loop. So you got some cushion there. And then I'll put in a small knot on the bottom right here. Just so like if your release cuts up your loop, you're going to go right back and you're on a hunt somewhere. You can tie in a new loop and it'll be right back into the same spot. That's one of the biggest reasons for on a hunting bow why you'd put a knot on the bottom here. But yeah, we'll tie that one in there. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so generally I'll start this under knot where I get a couple threads where I'll start like this and then wrap over and underneath. You don't want to pull super tight, just have a little bit of tension on it. And then I'll go back because you don't want to have it built up super high. So come like that. And then I always come back by putting an overhand knot, and then the overhand knot is at the bottom, so then it's not, after I burn it, it's not going to interfere with the knock. So if like this was burned at the top, you'd have an uneven wrap basically like this, and I'll burn this back and kind of push it in. And then I'll drop a little dab of glue on it. Like that. And then we'll pull it around so it gets nice and there's a little more bulletproof then with the glue on it, like that. And then we'll put the knot on the opposite side. So the knots are not on the same side like that, and then we'll tighten it up. And on the Hoyt, it's 13/16, 3/4 to 13/16, but we generally start at 13. So we'll go from the edge of the riser right there, and then we'll come over to 13/16. This one's right at 3/4 right now. We'll give it a little bit more to the left. With these bows, depending on where you wanted, you know, they have a required center shot. Every bow company does. Where sometimes they're 3/4, sometimes they're 13, sometimes they're 7/8, depending on the manufacturer. But sometimes, depending on how you tune this thing, if I wanted to have less sight picture, you could do that. So you could run it into 3/4, and then you're going to cut off some of your sight picture. It's just how the cam lean works at full draw. You want to be, some guys run a big housing where maybe some of it is behind the riser, but on like your guys' dialed sights, it's like 1 5/8 housing. So you should be able to run the center shot right there in between 3/4 and 13 and be able to see the whole sight picture. Because you want to be able to wrap your peep around that the whole ring. A lot of shops maybe tie it down here below the serving or go through it, burn it. I've never really liked going through the serving and then burn it on the backside, so we used to tie them in. Now we've just been making a half a D-loop and then wrapping it around there like that, pulling it tight for the rest cord, and then we'll just come up to the top here, run this back through, and then we'll set the rest cord, the rest timing at full draw. If you get too much tension on this rest cord, and we see it a ton, where somebody maybe worked on their own bow or somebody maybe didn't know, but if this is too tight at full draw, it will pull your bow out of time. And then a lot of guys will take and they'll compensate for it on the top cam and then wonder why their broadhead flight is so erratic or doesn't doesn't, their bow won't tune. They'll think it's in time, but there's so much tension on this rest cord that it actually pulls the bottom cam out of time. So it's always good to check the timing, even though these things came from the factory right out the box. Generally, like right now, if I tried to, so come over here, I'm gonna show you something. So this is an example of having the rest cord too tight. So this has to come all the way over to the cable to stop right now. And this is super, super tight right now on the cord cable. So if we kept cranking this back, this would actually pull so tight that it would take your bottom cam and take it out of time, even though it may look like it at full draw, because you took this one and compensated to get that one in time. It's way out of time. All right, so a good way to do this on setting the rest cord would be cranking this up. So there's a screw right in the back of this Q80, and I adjusted it just so it's barely got enough tension on it, like I could pull it right now. So we're gonna come all the way to full draw. So right now, bottom cam's hitting, and so the bottom is touching right now. So we're like a half a turn out of time. So right from the box, this thing wasn't even right, dead on timing for the top cam, the bottom cam. So the bottom cam is actually touching first right now, and we're maybe 1/8 of an inch out on top. So what I'm gonna do, I don't want to take turns out. I'd rather put twists in. It just seems to stay more. Once you take turns out, it seems to over loosen, but it doesn't when you put turns in to make it tighter. It doesn't over tighten, is basically, if that makes sense to you. But so yeah, our bottom cam's hitting first, so we got to make it shorter or make the top one longer on the cable. So if I shorten the bottom one, that's going to make this one longer. Everything in archery is backwards. We're going to shorten the bottom cam so right is tight. Meaning, if you stood here, look down the bow here, the strings and cables on most string manufacturers, right is tight. There is a few out there that they twist the other way, and it's super confusing sometimes when we get them in. But most manufacturers, I think Gas and Matthews, Hoyt, everybody twists their stuff to the right. So if you're looking from this end, right is tight, and if you go down to that end and look back, right is also tight. So we just put one turn in this bottom cam to shorten it up a little bit. And then we'll fix this real quick here. So like I said, it's just one of them things to check out of the box, because sometimes they are not perfect from the factory. So yeah, and then if you want to swing around here, we will look to see how close I am on timing. Bingo. How's that? Bottom one's touching, top one touching. Yep, just about dead on right there. So this rest cord, we got enough tension on it. I'll tighten that guy up. It's not over tight right now. And yeah, I'll tighten her up. Right there, and we'll be set. All right, so Most string manufacturers put this handy dandy little string splitter so we know that it's even from side to side. So we will split that and then we'll drop a peep in. See if we can get the right angle here. Hamsky makes a couple of marks on theirs for their different degrees. And I usually put it toward the back. There. Where are we? There we are. Roughly 5.5 to 6 inches from the loop to the center of the peep. So you just kind of guesstimate on that for now, and then we'll have Alex drop back. All right, so Hoyt's got this pick mount system here to mount your sight on the front of the bow. They got a couple different slots for peep height. On the average, it's probably going to be, on the average guy, let's say 28 to 30 inches, it's going to probably be in the middle to the bottom one, because it's all going to depend on peep height. And then your starting point, you know, on this sight, you're going to want your starting point to be all the way to the top. So your 20 is all the way to the top, not, okay, there's 20, but you want it all the way to the top. So I would probably start this one down toward the bottom, and then you can adjust these. You can back out these screws and adjust so where you want this on the on your first axis. Generally, it's going to be down toward the bottom, but yeah, it'll be we'll get a close reference here once we get her tied up. Like right now, this all the way to the top, this is super high. Like if you were a guy that had your peep height up here somewhere, you'd probably be closer there, but you're going to want your scope to be down here. Generally, your 20 is going to be kind of similar to right across about your connection point, usually. So, I mean, right now, you're going to come down a little bit more, but you don't want this thing to bottom out either, where you're going to run into your arrow. So, we're going to start roughly right in there. So, judging off of your peep height, we're going to be really close to this being all the way to the top, right about in there somewhere. So your 20 should be pretty close right now. Maybe come up a little bit more. So then right now, if you turn this and come all the way down now, see if you're probably not going to get that amount of yardage out of it, but so if you stick this in here like this, that's going to be roughly there in the, that's probably close to the top. Even that's probably pretty close there. If you come all the way down, yeah, you're going to run into your arrow, so you're going to have to watch it. I don't know if this sight company has a stop. Some companies have a stop here, so you don't do that. Don't run into your arrow. You can stop it before then, because if you shoot this arrow through that sight housing, it ain't going to be pretty. Working on your first, second, and third axis, you have to start with a level bow. So that's here. Your first axis is going to be here. So this is this whole moving block would be your first. So it looks like we're back here, so we're going to have to adjust this back here to get that to move, and it's a little bit off. It's not too bad. So let's see which way is which here. There, we got some movement. So right now, your first is lined up with the bow. So can you see that?
Yep.
So this level and this level So that's your first axis. This is your second axis here for here. So then we got to make this bubble match these two. And then everything, your first, second axis is in line, and then there's a way to, we'll have to do the third at full draw. So your second axis is here. So we got the first matching this level. The first axis is matched up with there. Now this is the second axis, so we got to adjust this one. And I might have to take, here we go. And so you got to have this one loose on the bottom, and then you got to tighten one side to the other, which changes the pivot point here. So right now we're close. Just that little bit of movement. Let's try that. Oh yeah. So right now, if I take this, dial this over to here, so I'm perfectly level. So we're level here, and now the second axis is level. So then we'll tighten that up from the front. You see it? Mm-hmm. Easiest thing, do you shoot with the nose button or nothing like that? You're just, okay. Pure feel, got it. So draw that back, anchor like you'd normally anchor. How's that?
Pretty dang good.
Is that pretty close there?
I mean, it could maybe go.
Don't scrunch. Just bring your nose like that.
So maybe a little higher.
Does it have to go up?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and let down. I'm gonna flip it around.
At any point, we could feel free to drop her down to 65 too.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we could do that right now. So, slight adjustment. Just barely touch your nose on the string. You see through there good?
I feel like it might be a touch high.
Touch high?
Just like the slightest adjustment, I feel like.
Come down just a smidge.
Yeah, there you go.
That looks pretty good.
Does that look good as far as like my form's concerned?
Mm-hmm.
Am my face scrunched at all, or am I okay?
Well, your head's up right now.
Okay.
You know, it was tilted back, and then, yeah, if you can come in just like that, that looks pretty good.
Feels good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looks good.
Okay.
Poundage felt okay?
Yeah, I thought you dropped
I
it
just
already.
took one turn out of it, yeah. With these bigger Peeps, it's nice to kind of go, generally we'll tie it in, or we get some serving up this side, and then we'll come down on the other side, so it doesn't, you know, these Peeps are awesome. Yeah, and these Peeps are awesome, but they're big too. I mean, the longer the tube is here, the less glare you're gonna have, stuff like that, so you get that better sight picture through here looking, you know, cleaner. But they are big, and they do move around in the string a little bit, so we just make sure we get them all tied in really good. Gotcha. So we mounted his back bar on there. He's not gonna run a ton of weight on the front. The back bar is kind of nice. I put it in a position where it felt pretty good. Just the way it's sitting right now, he's got a little bit coming off to here to kind of offset some weight over here. Once he gets his quiver on there, Alex is gonna have to play around with that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, having that back bar on these Hoyts, they got this rubber dampener on the front. It's got a couple ounces on the front as well, plus the sights out the front. Right now, it balances pretty good.
Yeah, I'm excited to start shooting this puppy. All right, so we got it to the point now where just gonna make sure that where this is at is somewhat close to 20. So we will see. We're gonna go for the middle of that single spot. See where we at. Whew. Felt pretty good. Shooting way high though. Yeah, left and right was really good. So what, I'm about, call that 8 inches high? I'll have to do one more. All right, we're about foot high.
A foot high?
Yep.
Well.
Left and right, it's pretty dang consistent.
Okay. So we will move this guy up. So this was all the way up, right? Or all the way down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just gonna move it to the middle then?
Nope. No? I'm gonna take this and move it up.
Gotcha.
So it would have been on perfect if we wouldn't have had to move that peep height up. That's what I'm going with. Pretty close.
Pretty close, yeah.
Okay.
Let's try her again.
Then we'll.
All right, he monkeyed with it a little bit, and we're gonna see where we're at. Closer. Left and right's perfect, and we're probably, what, 5 to 6 inches high? See if third time's a charm. And that felt maybe a little like that might have been more me. Bringing it a little bit low. That's pretty good. Shoot one more, I feel like. I think we're getting somewhere. Yeah, I think we're good. That's about as center as you can get. Let's go. I'll take it. Definitely the first few shots out of this thing is, man, it's smooth, it rips. I love the balance. I like the sight picture of the dialed sight. We switched to dialed this year, so first impressions, very good.
All right, so now we're just mounting the quiver on there. Alex running the 4-arrow quiver instead of the 6-arrow. I like a guy with confidence. He's like, I only need 1 arrow.
Exactly.
I don't know why they don't have a 1-arrow quiver.
And honestly, just a 0 arrow. Just carry it to the, just carrying your arrow to the tree.
All right, so they got a bunch of different adjustments with their quiver. You basically want to get it just so it doesn't hit the limb here. We can adjust this, you know, depending on where your arrow is going to sit, how high you want to set that. I'm going to lower it some so it's kind of sitting down here below the bow instead of above it, because your arrow is going to be fine. It's not going to be down here.
Yeah.
So
okay.
You shoot probably a 28-inch arrow, so it's, yeah, you'll have plenty of room. But, yeah. So their quiver, highly adjustable. We'll put this stopper here. I moved it all the way over. We'll come back 1 hole there, so when you put it on, it just, doom, that'll be your stopper, and then this will tighten up right onto there.
Super easy.
Go sticks. We'll put the go sticks on. This will be... The go sticks are super handy to have. Everybody that's got a Hoyt should have go sticks, put it that way.
They're pretty awesome.
Yeah, so they'll go on here. Here, I'll just do it real quick here. We'll flip this upside down. All right. I gotta find the right wrench here. All right, go sticks. Get that in there like that so it's kind of tight. And they got another handy screw that goes in there to keep it from swiveling. Tighten that one up. Tighten this one up. So it's also designed, if you wanted to run a longer stabilizer, off of the front of it too, you kid. But we're gonna put this little shorty back in there. And that tightens up. Now your go sticks. Tighten that up. Now it'll sit right down on the cam like that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Pretty handy.
Looks awesome.
Yeah, got the quiver mounted up, back up. We'll tighten this guy up. And your go stick back.
We're all good to go.
We are good to go.
Well, that's pretty, I mean, it took us, and granted we're filming and whatnot, but that was about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, roughly speaking.
Yeah, most bow setups probably an hour.
Yeah.
You know, and then depending on the detail we got to go into later if we got to tune it a little bit, but
Well,
that's
that's
basic startup. Right?
And that's what I like about coming here and with you. I mean, you don't just slap on the sight and the quiver and hand it back and say, go shoot it.
Right.
You know, you're running through everything to make sure, like obviously as we just filmed, like
Make sure the rest is right, the
everything's
sight's right,
good.
the timing's right.
And that's the thing where I can walk out of here and feel super confident. Obviously, right now it's May, but I'm not. But if it say something happened and it was November 1st, I could, if I had the right arrows here, be like probably leaving ready to go hunt.
Yep.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
we'd have it tuned up
Yeah.
and shooting a hole and
So
broadhead tuned.
yeah. Well, that's this video. Got the Hoyt RX-9, got the dialed proof sight, got the Hoyt accessories for the quiver, got the 4-arrow, the
Go stick stabilizer.
Yeah, pretty much that's the
Yeah,
setup.
and right now, like I said, it sits pretty good.
Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah.
Shoots awesome. So that's going to be this video. We're probably going to do another video back here with Randy soon. I got to bring in my arrows, and we're going to probably do a tuning video, I'd say.
Yeah.
Might as well get it set up and get the arrows tuned, because so another thing, too, with everyone is that you want to make sure you've got it tuned for the specific arrows you're shooting and all that good stuff. So that's this video. We really appreciate you guys watching. Again, if you're in the area, northern Minnesota, Wisconsin, if you want to make a trip up, you know, if you don't have a great archery shop, say you're down central Wisconsin, you probably people come from all over. So
Yeah, UP and Michigan everywhere.
yeah, that's
yep.
awesome. Make sure to come over to Custom Archery and see Randy. And with that, we will see you on the next video.